Can I just ask you something about this movie? When you were making this film, did you have any idea that it was going to be such a huge phenomenon and that there would be not just a sequel, but a whole trilogy made around this movie?
No. we didn't expect that. We didn't expect that it would be a big success in Hong Kong. Yeah, so we didn't plan for part 2 and part 3 at the very beginning.
You are not in part 2, but you do come back in part 3. I don't want to give too much away here because probably these people have not seen the film yet, and I don't want to reveal the plot. But okay, what was the toughest part for you in making these films, parts 1 and part 3? What was the most difficult part of it for you?
First of all, in part 1, I played this kind of role before. In genre movie, in Hard Boil, I was playing undercover cop before, so actually at the very beginning I want to do something different from what I did before. I want to create a character that is more optimistic, always wears a smile on his face, who has hopes. But unfortunately, I don't think this idea can fit in part 1. So I cannot do that in part 1. But at last I have a chance to do it in part 3. Because it's a flashback of part 1. So I'll try to do some happy times of this character in part 3, so I can fit in this character in part 3. So that's the most difficult thing in part 1. I try to do it this way, but it doesn't work. And it ends up like this. You know this afterwards.
Well, the film is called Jiandao, or in English, Infernal Affairs, and it is kind of hellish. I mean, there's a lot of emphasis on suffering and pain and how difficult everything is for these people. Did you get that? Did you feel that this was, yes, this element, this emphasis on suffering, was it something you could connect with?
Making movies is so fun. Always. Especially on how I can relate it to. It lasts quite a long time. Sometimes 3 years.
You've in fact been in production on 2046 for at least 3 years, right, already. Is there an end in sight? Do you think we will see it this year?
I hope so. We plan to finish it before May this year, so let's see.
There's a big film festival in May where I guess they would like to premiere the film, so maybe that's some kind of deadline.
I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have a wonderful evening with Infernal Affairs. It's been a huge pleasure and privilege to welcome the star of the film here tonight. He's here, I should tell you, for 30 hours. He arrived early this morning, leaves tomorrow morning. So we're incredibly lucky that he made it. Please join me once again in welcoming Mr. Tony.